Test. Test, test. Okay, cool. Had some issues with OBS, had some issues with the mics. Hopefully you guys can hear me just fine now. Test, 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 1, 2, 3. You guys can let me know in the chat that we're good. We can go ahead and get started. Dogs chat. Chat is loading. Let me check the websites and stuff like that, because I had hell getting this started today on the streams. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been an awesome week. Busy with a bunch of stuff. We're grinding away. Yeah, looks like we're good here. Need countdown timer. Dang it, my chat's not working. My chat doc. Hold on. I am so sorry. I got chat test. Cool. Yep. All right. So chat's live. We're good. Can you guys let me know if the mic's working? Tom Crown, I apologize. I usually have the timer, but I got into a fight with my internet provider apparently just now, and looks like all the frames are syncing. But test, 1, 2, 3. It looks like the audio is good on our end. Some week. Busy. Yep. That's looking like it's good. All right. So anyway, we can just start out. Welcome to the Rainbow Trends weekly stream, the weekly well watch. Sky Rainbow Runner. Coming to you live every week at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hang out here for about an hour. Talk charts. Talk the latest news. Talk crypto. Talk stocks. Talk fishing. Talk surfing. Whatever you guys want. And then we head to the Rainbow Trends Discord and we hang out with the OGs, where we kind of do a weekly roundtable where everybody can take control, share their screens, ask questions, drop alpha. There's actually been a lot of alpha in there this year. It's been pretty cool. And share whatever the thoughts are. But anyway, like I said, though, as normal, if you're curious why our charts look this way or why you see me trading colors, the basis of it is rainbow theory. And if you have any interest in checking out or learning about what these tools are about, check us out at rainbow-trends.com. You can kind of find the basis of how we integrated quantitative trading, Wyckoff, bot trading, etc., as well as just the kind of the best suite of tools out on the market. And if you want to find out about other people, friends and family, other traders who use it, videos, tutorials, all that jazz, it's all there. Also, the Discord link, if you want to show up at 9 p.m. tonight, hang out with us there. It's always there. It's also my profile. But to get this going, what's up, Brandon? Sean! What's up, dudes? Miss you, Sean. You need to come say hi again in the Discord. But I wanted to start this off today. Busy with what? Oh, that's the wrong one. Check this out. This really set the tone for the week. And this is kind of what I'm looking at on macro markets. Just wanted to play this for you guys.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing. But there is no question that the government prints money, and then it uses that money to Yeah, I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
So that's the actual chair of the economic advisors team that guides policy at the White House. And I say, like, at the White House, White House. This was just absolutely shocking to kick off the week. So seeing this, and then started to actually see that some of the bills, there was a bill in the House of Representatives that was actually going to or change the laws in which the SEC has control, that would allow highly regulated financial firms to actually custody Bitcoin and crypto. And the president's team actually came out and said in advance, hey, y'all try to pass this, we're actually going to veto it, which was real interesting. And regardless of that, the House of Representatives actually passed this 228 to 182. So this actually had a pretty good margin between both. This wasn't just a razor thin approval of that bill. It actually kind of got through, and now it's actually going to make its way to the Senate, see if it makes it to the Senate, then actually see if it gets vetoed. It was kind of crazy to actually see that happen and them getting in front of it. Shortly after that, the passing of this, we see Trump come out and start talking about crypto at this.
They are against it. The Biden doesn't even know what it is. If you ask Biden, sir, are you for or against crypto? What's that? What the? Get me off the stage. He's saying, get me off the stage. No, he has no idea. But look, Gensler is very much against it. The Democrats are very much against it. And I say this, a lot of people are very much for it, probably a lot of the people in this group. And I'm fine with it. I want to make sure it's good and solid and everything else, but I'm good with it. And if you like crypto in any form, and it comes in a lot of different forms, if you're in favor of crypto, you better vote for Trump.
So, not getting political with this, but this really set off a lot of the week for me as far as getting my most attention on things. Things are spicing up. And the reason I bring this up is we're about to see, you're seeing the White House fight some of the stuff in regards to what the SEC is going to do. You're seeing potential election and regime change towards the end of the year, which could bring in a new SEC chair. Notice Trump actually mentioned Gary by name, saying he hates crypto, which is true. But before I go to the actual charts, I forgot to say, stream is intended, like I said, or I may have said this, but I'm going to cover it again. It's for educational purposes only, not intended to be used as financial advice. Even if you were to mistake this for financial advice, this is clearly an art stream. But the real big thing this week that's coming up, or this month, that I wanted to focus on, it's not Bitcoin, it's Ethereum. So right now, the Ethereum chart is kind of going sideways and grinding. This is the old channel walker chart that we had going, and we called this. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Doppel, you owe me an apology. This one actually played out. Came off as a big ETH bear, even though I'm a gigantic ETH supporter. This is almost playing out to a T off the fractal. I missed the top by 10%, so my bad. But regardless, like I said in the past, we've covered this a bunch of times. You get a channel walk like this with a trajectory that's talking, if this was continued to be like $100,000 by the end of the year on Ethereum, I would love to see it. It's just not in the books, but that's kind of the high level recap of that one. But the reason it's coming up, there's starting to cook. The SEC starting to get more mouthy, and we're starting to get more interest on Ethereum, and we're starting to see news pull show up. Grayscale's Ether Futures ETF application was pulled. Reason not disclosed. Kind of an interesting thing. Starting to get a trend, starting to get some talks. Well, looking into this, and this is kind of one of the main guys I follow for kind of the ETF news, Jace, how you say his last name, Safart. He's basically saying that even though they didn't say why they withdrew, Grayscale, he's saying this was essentially a Trojan horse filing in order to create the same circumstances that allowed Grayscale to win the GBTC lawsuit. Since they, and if you go back to the GBTC lawsuit, which actually gave us the window to get a spot ETF Bitcoin approved. Long story short, legal talk. They argued, hey, Gensler, you approved futures ETF for Bitcoin. You need to approve spot. And it's starting to get more spicy. So let me show you this interview too, because this caught my eye and I wanted to show it because you're starting to see a lot of stuff, headlines where, you know, the White House is making moves, Trump's making statements, Biden's making statements, the SEC is getting chatty about stuff. Well, there's a reason, and we'll cover that in a second.
The big question in crypto land right now, is Ethereum a commodity or is Ethereum a security? And therefore, will there one day be an ETF? That's the fundamental question on the table in crypto land. You agree?
Oh, you're the one that's out there asking the questions. All I would say is, to me, the fundamental question is how do we ensure that the American investor is protected? And right now, they're not getting the required or needed disclosures. And the intermediaries in the center of this rather centralized market generally are conflicted and doing things we would never allow the New York Stock Exchange to do. The New York Stock Exchange is not allowed to trade against the investors.
Okay, but let me ask you about the big.
So the reason he's being weird with his answers there, he's normally weird regardless, but this is the calendar everyone needs to remember. This is coming up. This is the Ethereum ETF applications list. So there's the VanEck, the ARC, the Hashdex, the Grayscale, although this one was, I believe, the one that was withdrawn. Invesco, iShares, and Fidelity. The point being, the SEC final deadline is May 23rd. That's coming up shortly. Today's May 9th. This is the last day for this set of ETFs at which Gensler can say yes or no. He's not allowed to kick down the kick the can down any further down the road than May 23rd. That's it. There's no other way around it. Now, you guys are familiar. They constantly say they delay, and that's kind of the what everyone's kind of in their head and they're used to. The truth is that date he can't go past, and we're going to get a yes or a no on here. You seeing how weird he's being, Gensler being Gensler like he normally is. You give him the opportunity to do the right thing or be a POS. He typically does the shittier thing. I'm kind of expecting him to say it either way. It's not going to get passed, but a lot of the market, a lot of the people are kind of cringing on Twitter and freaking out, and they shouldn't be. And the reason I say that, and give me 1 second, is the big problem with this is people thinks this is the last time, and they shouldn't be. And they think this is the last time that we'll get the opportunity to do this, and that's not true. You have to remember, last time we did this, or not the last time we did this, the recent Bitcoin ETF spot approval that we had, we were told no like 10 years before we finally got a yes, and we had to go through multiple court cases. If that is the case this time, we just back up and do it again. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's kind of what I think we should be maybe suspecting, maybe anticipating. Regardless, Ethereum's grinding out. SEC is acting crappier. We're grinding out. We're coming up from this, but it's kind of already done enough in the charts to kind of settle out, and we can kind of get a trend going again. That's the truth of it. But with that being said, we're not going to speculate. Is Gary going to say yes? Is he going to say no? Are people getting inside rumors? Now, you don't get any inside information out of the SEC. We've seen that very clear. Gensler and Jerome don't really leak anything. So, with that being said, mark it on your calendars. There's all these different ones, but May 23rd is going to be the first one that comes up. And when that happens, the SEC is highly likely to say yes and or no to all of them. And just say deny, or they're going to come in here and say approve. Because that's what they did on the Bitcoin ones. The first one that came up on this last deadline, they said yes, and they said yes to all of them. The reason they do that is, say you let the Grayscale ETF out the door before the Fidelity one, they start arguing and wanting to sue back, saying, hey, you gave an early starter advantage to the other teams. That's not fair. So that's what we're going to see on the on the ETF deadline, May 23rd. Regardless of what you think, if it's bullish, bearish, whatever, buy the dip, sell the dip, buy the pump, sell the pump, whatever. The main point of this is I don't want these degenerate gamblers to be going into May 23rd and not understanding that Gensler's going to come out and act a fool. He's going to come out and act a fool May 23rd and say something. And when he does that, the markets will react. What are they going to do? No idea. But the thing is we don't need to be 50x long in a position knowing that Gensler's about to say something that will shake markets. Regardless of what you say, when the Twitter bots are trading, they're going to pick up on the news and they're going to act on it, and they're going to be able to move this price however it is. It's just how it goes. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to shut my door. The kiddos just got home. So that's really, really, really the big news we've coming up. We had the Bitcoin ETFs, we had the halvening, now we've got Ethereum ETFs, and that's coming up in 2 weeks. So basically, my main focus the rest of the month, really counting this down. It's just, you could say, yeah, Bitcoin's king for sure it is. But the big thing is Ethereum news will shake markets. With that being said, even if they say no, I'm all right. I'm happy with it. We got a Bitcoin ETF approved. Gensler had his hands forced. I'm okay with that. And then we can let our guys at Coinbase go battle it out, take the SEC to court and say, hey, yeah, it's totally cool what we're doing here, and we can go buy our altcoins on Coinbase and be left alone. I'm totally cool with that. The big hurdle we had happen. Maybe it takes another cycle, another few years, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter. Regardless, the thing too is we may just have to outweight Gensler, and that's potentially going to happen if the next presidential election changes, and then we get a new SEC chair in who's more crypto favoring, and then maybe we get these rollouts going through. Because right now, like BlackRock, they want to keep rolling with all this stuff. They're talking about all these different types of ETFs, and I've talked about it on a lot of different streams. Frankly, I sure, give me an Ethereum ETF. Past that, I think we're really grasping at straws. Do we need a Litecoin ETF? Do we? I don't think so. Do we need a Bcash ETF? I really don't think so. I don't think the volume's going to be there. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. Maybe all these old timers have just been begging their whole life for a Litecoin ETF application to be approved and that they get exposure to. Maybe that's the case. I'm highly doubtful. If you go back and look at the CME future volumes for Bitcoin and Ethereum, the Ethereum, as awesome as Ethereum is, the volume's not there. It's pales in comparison to Bitcoin. Now, maybe Larry Fink at BlackRock just starts going ham, and he wants it and he gets it, and Ethereum goes crazy. It'd be awesome. To me, Bitcoin's the best apple. Ethereum's the best orange. They're two different things to me. I really, really like both. Would love to have both, but it is either way. I'm not too crazy about it. I'm not really going to be sided on it. But also, transition. Speaking of Tom, who dropped in the chat, if you guys didn't know, Tom actually broke 100,000 subscribers. So shout out, Tom. That's a very, very crazy thing to do, and that dude grinds. I do this stream once a week and do clips for like the rest of the week. This dude lives, breathes streaming. But moving on to Bitcoin, which is our favorite, right? ETF flows, I've been really crazy about the Far Side. Shout out Far Side UK. Love you dudes. This website's awesome. Let me put the link in the chat in case you don't have it. You guys need to definitely bookmark this and check it every day because it's awesome. It pulls the data live from the API data that is from each provider, and it gives us the Bitcoin flow in US dollars. And one of the biggest things that we have been trying to track out is figuring out when on earth is Barry Silbert going to be bled dry. The dude had 650,000 Bitcoin approximately going into this ETF approval, and he has dumped about 350,000, I believe, Bitcoin. This is in millions, so it's not going to track. But regardless, you see this gigantic dumping of Bitcoin into the market. So the halvening was originally 900 Bitcoin per day, and Barry was dumping well in excess of that. We've now gone into the halvening, and now there's only 450 Bitcoin mined per day, which is still a lot, but it's half, and that's bullish. But now we're trying to actually see what happens to Silbert, and this actually happened. May 3rd is when we had our first grayscale inflow. It quit bleeding. Now we went back and had some bleeding again, but the point is it actually happened. We actually hit a point at which grayscale quit bleeding and actually inflowed. And if we can get grayscale offline as far as a continuing dumping on the market, I'm really running out of reasons to why number don't go up. Just the miner revenue, or the miners dumping was cut in half, and then Silbert, which was like 10 times that, is coming offline. Now, he's not going to go to zero, but we weren't really sure, so we were tracking where he's bleeding out to, and he got about 300,000 or just below 300,000 Bitcoin left, and it actually did an inflow. Now, note with this, they actually said they are going to be releasing a new product that the people from GBTC will be able to transfer into, and it will be lower fees than these other offerings from like Fidelity and BlackRock. So it's suspected that that's really why we kind of saw this inflow, and that may be the case. But yesterday we had a zero flow on Grayscale, which is awesome. I'll take a zero. It's not negative, it's not positive, but seeing a zero is huge. And then today was actually another net outflow. But the point is I think we're actually getting there to that number. We were projecting that sometime this summer we were going to be hitting zero on the Grayscale outflows, or I'm sorry, later this year, if he kept just absolutely obliterating his bags, he was eventually going to have zero Bitcoin. We knew that wasn't going to happen, but it gave us the window of like, man, this summer's really probably where he stops. We're starting to see this formed. If we can get a few more weeks where this keeps sustaining, we're going to really have to like call it and say, hey, this liquidity is kind of gone. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see where all this goes, because as much as this range is just chopping people up going sideways, it takes a lot of liquidity to maintain price that with this much buying, just in general. So, yeah, that's my summary with that, and just keeping it in mind. We're getting closer to that being done. The halvening's already happening. Hong Kong ETFs went live, just very little volume in comparison, but anywho, transitioning on, and to also kind of prove a point when we talk about like feeding all these mouths that want to inflow. Have you ever looked into a whale called Mr. 100? If you don't know who this guy is, there's a whale on chain who continuously buys Bitcoin, a single entity, and he buys in roughly 100 Bitcoin clips at a time. This single entity, this single whale was consuming 67% of all mining by himself. So the point being, miners cut in half, Grayscale bleeding out. When we go into full-on crazy bull mode, we're going to run out of supply, and it's just no way around it. And when there is high demand, low supply, you kind of know what happens after that, right? So we'll see. What's up, Fletch? No, Mr. 100 is not Sailor. Sailor buys on Coinbase, and he buys with an algorithm that buys in itty bitty chunks. It's actually really cool. As you can, I've seen it a few times. The algo goes pretty wild, and the order books at Coinbase just look really, really weird, for what it's worth. But that's not that guy, Mr. 100. Because it's also not on Coinbase Prime. Now, back to, we've done this a bunch of times, the Wyckoff kind of update of accumulation. Is this distribution? Is this bull run over? Runner, what is going on? It's one of the two. It's distribution or it's accumulation. Like I said, it's one of the two. I don't know if I still have these schematics on here. Nope, I don't. They were up there, but I've deleted them. But you guys know what we've done. I've got a bunch of clips. I got a bunch of old videos archived. You guys can go check all those out. But the point being, we're getting what I to believe is the tail end of this. Now, originally, this is ugly. Reaccumulation to me is harder than accumulation because you don't have the nosedive into it. When you nosedive into it, it's a little bit easier for me. But regardless, this is what I think is playing out. This is the time frame back from the previous history where we hit the first time we hit 60K, the colors rolled over and then we capitulated and tanked. This was roughly when like Bitcoin was banned in Bitcoin mining was banned in China and it went crazy. But this is what I'm seeing. Even though this is a downtrend that turned into accumulation and reversed, we're doing the opposite. We're coming up to distributing and then trying to make it reaccumulation. You've got the down, you have a second leg, and then it grinds, and then we jumped. And really, you know, the schematics look like this. This is the creek, and then it bounces, it's clean, it's one test, there's your spring, ba-ba-da-ba-da. Argue all day long, don't really care. It's one of the two, and this is kind of what I'm seeing is I'm getting reminiscence of this. And this was a few hits of this support level, and that is what we're doing now. Not perfect, none of this is perfect, but it definitely is rhyming to me. And I'm tired of seeing all of crypto since like April saying it's over, oh, it's over, it's over, it's over, it's over, bulls are dead, da-da-da-da-da. We've gone into the halving. Chill out, dudes. We get a 30% retrace, hit 50. Da-da-da-da. I'm just going to buy more. I don't care. I don't think the macro halvening peaks happened yet, personally. But regardless, we're seeing downward movement, a test into the local support block, another retest into the local support block, and now we're kind of going down here. Had a swing below the local support. When I say local support, what I'm talking about is these H4 order blocks. This is the top range. This is the bottom range. And then this one here is the old all-time highs. I have to zoom out, so bear with me. This is the old all-time high order block. I've drawn that here, and it actually intersects here. And lo and behold, that's where we actually kind of went above it and failed to hold it. And now we're kind of going through this, which is, to me, looking like reaccumulation. If I'm wrong, you're going to get closes below this that sustain, and we're going to bleed out until we find support, whether that's like 52K, 49K. There's really kind of an order block here with a bunch of pivots from like when the ETF was initially brought back online in the 40s. I'm not saying I think that's going to happen, but that's where the path is of, is this if this is distribution, we're going to go hunt some lows, find support, and then we're going to continue on with the upward trend of the bull market, hopefully, right? But if it's not, this is designed to grind everybody out, and it's looking like we're starting to try to finalize this back third of the accumulation range, if it is reaccumulation. And today we actually saw some really cool stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. And likewise, I also should mention all the guys, I've been grinding my butt off on YouTube, battling that algo and doing clips and thumbnails and all my free time, right? With my being a dad and engineer at the same time. It eats up my time, but I've been committed to it, and we've been able to grow the YouTube channel pretty good, and the YouTube's actually feeding us some stats back. So all the guys who followed the YouTube channel, big shout out to you guys. Much love. Any type of interaction with the channel helps us out. The Twitter algo is a bit easier to work with, but man, that YouTube algo ghosted me for a very long time. But regardless, back to the chart. Zoomed in. This is the H1 with the rainbow trend stuff. We got below this order block. This looked nasty. It looked real nasty. Now, this was a sweep below the liquidity, shook a lot of people out, and it got a lot of bears to short late. And then it kind of came back up, tested, kissed, and then kind of bled off that all-time high order block, which is from like 65 to like 69,000. That's such a huge range, but that's just what it is. But if you guys are a fan of my guy Malifestro, that's a sweep low, back up, and now we're actually finding support here. and the H4 order block held to a T. Now, it's too early to decide if this is like final confirmation. We may come and retest this. We're almost to the weekend. We don't know yet. But I really like seeing that. I'm going to switch over to H2. This is messy now. But the point is what was previously support, we broke through it, and then it retested again. This is a higher low that was tapped twice, and it bounced. I love seeing support hold. Now, I don't want to keep testing support indefinitely. That's not good. Eventually, you knock too many times on the door knocks over, and we're going to puke. Don't want to see that. But we are at the stage now where we had our opportunity for the bears to really drive through the bottom, and they didn't. We came back up. So now I'm really wanting to see the test of the all-time high order block, the recent all-time high, like the 74 order block. We still have to get through this gigantic mid-range, and if we can actually successfully climb through this right here is your jump across the creek. This jump here. Now, this is the old pattern from the old range, which was accumulation, not this. So it's not perfect, and that type of stuff. Patterns like that, I don't think are, I don't think they're really worth it, but they give me kind of ideas of the way this stuff paints, and I just like drawing it. But if we get this and we can grind back up, my God, if we go bam, 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 and then actually get back up to here, that's going to be super, super awesome. Now, with that being said, regardless, this is a crazy, crazy, crazy cryptic asset, right? Regardless of what happens, and this kind of goes back to my old Solana charts, until we start printing again above this, like the 73.7, the all-time high, we really need to pump our brakes when we approach this all-time high order block. Getting up to these order blocks is quite easy. Getting through them is the freaking monster, and sustaining through them is the monster. A lot of times they can freaking do a wick here, and then they just nuke and go back down. We've seen this so many times. What the whales are doing is they're baiting you. They're waiting for you to get your alert to say, hey, new all-time high, new all-time high. People long it late, and then they rip you down. Happens all the time. Right here's a good example. Wicked up, people got super, super long, and boom. And albeit, this doesn't look like a lot. It doesn't, but that's an 18% retrace. That got a lot of people. So you got to be really, really careful. We want to see stronger colors. We want to see volume roll in. We want to see the party go hard. So we've got a long way to go from where we are right now. I'm asking the whales to come back up 18% roughly. So anyway, what's up, JS? Appreciate you too, bro. Are you still holding your alts? Raged, I am still bagging stuff. So a lot of the projects that I think are worthwhile, I'm adding to bags. That's just where I'm at with it. It's the right thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. Time will tell. But I do have positive cash inflow coming in from different stuff, and I want to expose it to the market. So I'm trying to grab like blue chips as well as more Bitcoin spot. Throw it in the vault. I'll talk to you in 2025 about it, unless we get crazy dumb trade setups, and then we can go from there. But that's my macro update on Bitcoin, the flows, the really, really big emphasis on Ethereum. Typically, I want to focus on Bitcoin because this is the king that everyone bows to. All the alts reply to this or move to this. And I guess to your point, JS, if Bitcoin capitulates, that's the time to really be scared, because if this thing moves down 20, your alts are going to puke like 50. It's nasty, nasty, nasty. But like I said, I stack cash, I grab here and there. We get anything crazy like that, sure, I'll grab more on some of the stuff that's on discount. But yeah, that's our update there. Moving on. FTX, huge update. FTX announces new plan to repay creditors. Customers under 50K get 118% back. Others get full refunded plus additional compensation later. This is a win. I'm going to call it a win. Now, with that being said, these guys are getting their cash back. A lot of people, I think, would rather say, hey, can you give me back the amount of crypto I had, because it would be way more than 118%. That's what sucks. you're getting, I believe this is all coming back as cash at a certain screenshot date, etc. It is what it is. Now, with that being said, the reason I'm calling it a win, there's multiple exchange hacks, fraud, all that other type of stuff that no one ever got a dime back on. And that's the truth. So FTX, I hated Alameda. I still do. I don't like the people behind it. But this is very, very nice thing to have. Losing your entire life savings and never getting anything back versus getting at least the cash back, that's nice. So all the people that went through this hell and actually got it kind of to support back, like, shout out to you guys, because this was an absolute mess. Moving on, my favorite Alameda guys and gals. We'll do a quick update on these guys. SBF is behind bars. Caroline cooperated with the legal court systems but did not get protection, so she's going to be sentenced sometime this year. I don't know when it is. If anybody in the chat knows when that is, please let me know. Where in the world is Sam Trabucco? This is the one I'm really interested in, and I suspect he was an early cooperator with the feds and ratted everyone out. With that being said, though, it's never been said officially he got witness or got full protection, etc. They came out and said Caroline didn't get it. They said she did not get protection, but we're taking into consideration that she's playing ball and willing to testify against the former love of her life. Trabucco, he's in the evidence, but you would assume that if he had completely rolled over and was the rat that kind of started the whole fall of the empire, they would have made him come up and testify. You would think that would have happened, but it didn't. So we're not really sure, and we're not really sure where this dude's at. So I'm really interested because he's as bad as the others. And then Ryan Salami on the right, absolute worthless human being. He got completely wrecked by the FBI. His house raided and all that. I don't think he's going to jail, but they've ruined his life quite thoroughly. So all things considered, people are getting most of their money back. He's behind bars. She's going to get sentenced with something. He's MIA, and he's been pretty much wrecked. But moving on to something I do like, considering I don't like Alameda, which is no secret. I kind of wanted to show you this because if you haven't noticed, Say's always talked about V2. And we had an absolute killer run on Say that we traded on the Discord back in Q4 of last year. That one hurt as far as tax reporting goes, but got to pay to play regardless. Always pay your taxes. This is kind of cool because this is something that I've seen as well. A lot of people talk about, innovation, da-da-da-da-da. Cryptos, whatever. Everything's kind of the same. The one thing I noticed on Say V1, beside price going up, was how freaking fast it was. I almost couldn't believe it. And starting to see the team start getting chatty, people are actually showing like demos of like, hey, how fast is actually Say V2? So I wanted to show this because this is kind of my experience with Say V1, and it's cool. So I want to show it. Click, click, click. Done. That's insane. As fast as you can load it, it's already done. This was actually some of the transfers and stuff that my friends have seen. Like, they're like, hey man, I paid a guy with this. Did you ever like notice how fast it is? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I asked him to check it to see if he's even like got the confirmation it's coming. He goes, and it's already in his wallet. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But speaking of that, this is also what the Say team looks like, if you don't know. So, good thing is they're normal looking groups. Some of the crypto teams that we deal with aren't as based and cool as looking at this. So very bullish on this. Very, very bullish on this. And as the chart is painful to watch, they're starting to talk about V2 more than ever. It's coming soon. It's coming eventually. We don't know when it is, but the one thing I will say is when teams start getting chatty like this, if you pay attention to the main guys and gals behind Say, you need to pay attention. And remember we hit like $1.15 and we're coming back all the way down to 53 cents, which it hurts. And this is below these ranges for sure. But all I'm saying is you might want to start paying attention again to this in case it does wake up, because this thing, when it wakes up, my God, just say run hard. So if this V2, and this is the other thing, I can't speak so much to the tech of the parallel EVM and all the other stuff. I code a lot, but that type of like full stack development is way above me. But the point is what if it is really as cool as it was and we get another crazy run? A lot of this is on speculation of that V2 coming out. Now we've actually got time for V2 to actually come out. What's the chart going to look like? All I know, we're still nowhere into the crazy bull market yet. So it's something to consider where this is going. But something I wanted to just kind of throw out there and see what you guys think. Because for a while, the crypto narrative at the end of 2023 was modular, AI. And now it's really kind of shifting over to like AI. Again, one of the coins that we saw a crazy bounce on was Render. This zoomed out doesn't look like a lot, but this was one of the strongest moves we saw this week from this bottom print. Render actually went up 65%. It's huge. Big nasty distribution and then bounced back up. And this is kind of when I say like edge to edge on the reversion bands, this is what I'm talking about. I also used to call them like yin yang. I don't really have a lot of good terms for this stuff. If you haven't noticed, I talk in cryptic whale comments and rainbows and everything else. But when we're tagging this deep in here, the bears eventually give out and then they full sent it to the opposite side. And now the bulls are starting to really start to show their colors. So I'm real big on Render, real big on NVIDIA. These guys are buddies with Render, or they're buddies with NVIDIA. So this is one of those alts that I don't really care what's going on. This is one of those ones I do care. But the point is, this is the type of alt that I want to try to bag and just hold on to for like at least a year. And that's where I'm at with it. Anyway, what's up, Alpha Pool? But moving on. I wanted to share something with you guys. There's a lot of stuff, people that I've come across and introduced you guys to over the years. One of them is a bit quieter than the others. But he's a developer well beyond my capabilities. So I wanted to point this out because this is on my radar, because this is one of my trusted guys. I ran into Mr. Freeman over at the Moonshot Discord years ago. We become friends. I DM him all the time. Anytime I screw something up on chain or I have a security question, this is my go-to guy that I hit up on a DM and say, hey, can you help me with this? And he's always on top of a lot of stuff. And I've seen him go through markets to where he's risked off at the right times. He's gone long at the right times when he's, a lot of the market doesn't want to do that. And he's always on top of a lot of stuff. Regardless, what I'm saying is I highly trust Freeman. I've known him for a long time. And not a lot of people pay attention to him or follow him. And that's a shame. So I'm going to put his tag here in the chat and say, hey, this is one of the OGs that I love to death. And he's actually one of the orange OGs in the Discord. And you'll see me tag him from time to time to wake him from his slumber, because this is a guy worth listening to who doesn't talk a lot. And one of the things that I've heard Freeman talk about, it's got to be for over a year, is an AI coin called Morpheus. And so definitely shout out Freeman. I call him Gordon. If you don't know, his old PFPs were Gordon Freeman from Half-Life. It's a great game. But he's been all about and talking a lot about this project, Morpheus. And he talks about it in a way that's clearly above my head. I can't really comprehend what it is, what's going on, but it is a decentralized AI native crypto token that finally launched this week. So a lot of the stuff you guys talk, you've heard me preach before, is, develop your tribe, find your vibe, attract your tribe, all that jazz, but really find the people in the community that you can trust and develop relationships with, and learn how to read them. Like, it's got to be like at least 6 years ago that I ran into Doppel in a Discord, and this like Twitter guy that no one, like, was a very, very small Twitter account, wasn't really very, very talkative, was just spitting some very interesting stuff, and he was hitting hard. And this is one of those guys that I think I want to bring up and share with you guys to follow, because this is another one that is highly, highly, highly intelligent, way smarter than me. And remember, when I say, like, hey, learn your OGs, learn to listen to them, but not just to what they say, listen to the tone. And there's times when, like, I could pick up on when 9K was talking about, say, like 8 months ago, and I was like, hey, I listen to 9K all the time, but I haven't heard him talk like this in years, and that's what got me so gung-ho on Say. And then Say ended up absolutely obliterating my short-term capital gains for my taxes last year. So shout out 9K and the IRS. But I'm bringing this up because Freeman's been talking about this one for a while. A lot of people know about Freeman, and I think you should, and that's why he's one of the few in the Discord that have orange. I consider him a trusted OG, but he's been nonstop talking to me about this Morpheus AI coin. And it launched this week. And with every launches don't go crazy successful, but it's live now. And it went live May 8th, yesterday. Mind you, this is not the most amazing chart. I think the candle goes up to like 6,000. Whatever. We're going to ignore that. It's not on any major exchange. But the point is we've got a coin launching on Uniswap that one of my OGs that I highly trust has been talking about for like 2 years now to me. And it's live, and I have the opportunity to buy it. So you heard it here first. Not first, but if you heard about it, definitely follow my guy Freeman. And just put this on your radar. This is not something I'm going to go bet my mortgage on. But I'm definitely going to be looking at this, give it a few days, and try to figure out where I can just start bagging it. This is one of those things where I just want to, hey, I mean, this is what I would say is, hey, 9K is talking about this in a way that I'm going to throw some serious cash and just forget about it. And if I lose it, and then Say went on this most insane run, this one's giving me some of the same vibes. It's like, hey, this one's just dropped. I got an opportunity to get into it, and it's got AI and decentralized. It's got all the cool terms. It's Morpheus. I like Matrix references. Maybe it's not a Matrix reference, but the point is pay attention to this. If this wakes up, and it's only a 21 million market cap, it's not crazy. Like, I have not done my research on this at all. All I'm telling you is I know how to read my friends and my OGs, and he's one of them. So moving on to Bowden. Wanted to show you this too. This was one of the craziest explosions we've seen in a very long time. And this is just how crazy stuff is. If you got in crazy early on Bowden, you made some serious gains. So you've got a little bit of a window potentially to get Morpheus. Mind you, this is not financial advice. I'm just saying I always like to tell you guys what's really got my attention. That one's got my attention. Full letting you guys all stop. No. Now, Bowden has done this crazy pullback. I think it has retraced 70%. And we're going into election season, so I assumed we were going to be running this all the way into September, but maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's fully going out. The point is, man, with these meme coins, they are insanely volatile. They blow rainbows out every different which way. Be very careful with them. And just know that you are trading against some very, very seasoned people that know how to trade these damn things. How do I know that? There's your Bowden Ferrari. And that's not an F360. A big chunk of change with a Bowden plate on it. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You're always up against someone really, really better than you, smarter than you, even if it's dumb. There's liquidity here that people can make millions. And some people did. Some people lost it all. So just know that you're playing with fire, is all I'm saying. And listen to the tides of the market. Anyway, moving on. As I gave you guys a shout out to Freeman, and mind you, if we're going to annoy one of my OGs with some follows on Twitter, definitely send him some DMs. Ask him some serious questions and blow up his inbox. That would be much appreciated. Much love. But good example, one of our greatest, oldest most beloved OGs of the Rainbow Trends crew. I still don't have a really good name for the Rainbow crew yet, but if anybody's got a great idea, let me know. Pix has been hitting up really good ideas lately, so Pix, if you've come up with a cool nickname yet, let me know. But my OG Doppel. Doppel is talking about Hood again, and I think it's worth paying attention to. Doppel's called some really cool stuff throughout the years, and he's normally not this chatty. So I wanted to pull a Hood chart up and cover this real quick and see what we're looking at. Now, spoiler alert, he's talked about this quite a bit in the Rainbow Trends Discord Power Hour, whatever you want to call it, the 9 o'clock session over here, the open mic. And I've heard his thoughts on this one, but he's actually tweeting about it too pretty confidently, and don't ever sleep on Dop when he's talking like that. You have to learn what they're saying, not how they're saying it. Now, your inner Wyckoff schematic dude should be going, oh my god, accumulation. Yeah, that's accumulation range with a lot of headroom. We're talking 55K up here is what it was before it dropped off. And if you ever heard Doppel talk about skate parks, this is the half pipe stuff that we're talking about. So, mind you, we've broken up out of this accumulation range, which was from like June of 2022. Hell, you can call it back to January of 2022, all the way to February 2024. The range is broken, and that's worth paying attention to. So, as much as I just want to talk about crypto all the time, Rainbow Theory kills this stuff too. Rainbow traders and other types of traders that, you know, friends and family of ours, they kill the tradfi as well. Hell, half the year you'll see Malifester not touch crypto and then just destroy tech stocks. But the point is this stuff's tradable too. Lower fees, easier access. It's worth applying your crypto skills to TradeFi if you haven't paid attention. The other thing here giving me some goosebumps is this giant volume impulse coming up on the outside. Now this thing is rocking and rolling. There's big volatility here, but the thing is man, this looks like the tail end of accumulation, and we've actually, well, it is the tail end of accumulation. We pulled out, and it's looking like we're setting up to do a trend. So we did that climb up to 50. That's a huge win. 153% to get back up there. So keep that in mind. That's what we're looking at. Dop's talking about it. I'm going to pay attention to look at the charts. I'm not really crazy about Robinhood, but if he's paying attention to it and the charts look right, I'm going to pay attention to it and potentially get exposed to it. So anyway, you heard me mention Mally. With Mally being mentioned, I'm going to have to go into Boeing. This is one of the things Mally traded this year and killed it. And as of late, Boeing's in the press and the crazy limelight. And I saw this on Twitter and had to absolutely share it. This is definitely wrong, but the jokes of the Boeing whistleblowers getting taken out is now at the level people are posting Boeing whistleblower Lego sets, which I wanted to show and note that it says 12 to 46 years old. Anyway. Phil, what were you asking how to spell? Was it the Morpheus? If it was the Morpheus, I apologize because that was a while back. You can shoot me a DM. I'll shoot it over to you. Let me pull off the Golden Pocket because I don't want to cloud up the charts. But the Golden Pocket tool, if you don't have it in your custom clouds, delete custom clouds and install the new version. 1.12 has the new one. With that being said, Boeing has fallen off the cliff, as with a lot of the parts off their planes with the news, and it's been really, really bad lately as far as the news schedule. And rightfully so. There's whistleblowers coming out. There's parts falling off planes. It's a bad vibe. But look at the volatility we're getting on Boeing. That was a 50% pump on a TradeFi market. That this was the one that like Mally really killed, and now it's bleeding back out. And we're actually retesting and supporting this older pivot that's on the dailies. There's an order block here from 167 to 174. And I've been paying attention to it because this is too damn clean to ignore. When I see stuff reacting to pivots this strong, this consecutively, I take notes. Because when the whales are respecting support, I really want to pay attention to it, because if they're if they're respecting the chart, the clue of what's going to happen next is really in the chart. And that's what I'm really kind of interested in Boeing. There's so much god-awful press news on this, and it did a swing into this order block liquidity, which it failed to touch here on this ridiculous drive. Look at all those RSI prints and that little bump. And full disclosure, I messed up that trade. I got closed out at break even because I bit here, and then it retraced down, and then it pumped freaking 50%. And that one bit me. I was mad because I saw this and I wanted to get it, and that little move there baited me. Regardless, dead cat bounce killed me, but this one went deeper. It's showing support here, and maybe this thing's about to flip these EMAs green and get going. So that's what I'm kind of looking. If we go to the 1 hour, you can see the trend here went up until they broke through the EMAs. These are the EMAs I kind of watch. I know a lot of guys use like the Ripster clouds. This is just the 33, the 66, and the 99 EMAs, just so I can kind of get that look in it. I don't use it all the time, but I'm watching it for these type of trends. And this one's starting to flip it on the 1 hour. And if we're going to try to climb back up, maybe this is where we start to form a trend. And if it is, I can at least hop on and see if a rip shows or if it's just going to chop out some more. Regardless, my invalidation's really close here. I've got double pivots there, and then the 1 hour, the daily pivots below there. So I'm looking for a sustained trend change, and if it trend changes goes, I can ride it. Speaking of trends, this is GE. This is another one that got, it had a split in the company, and the market actually completely nuked. It got down into this red band, and then once the split was like figured out and recalculated on TradingView, they moved the candles like back up into the trend based on the percentage. It was something like 33% of the company was split off. Regardless, I've been in this one, and this one's been going wild for a bit. I'm trying to find, because it looks like I deleted my old pivot extensions. Let me draw this real quick. Yeah, those are the ones that I'm concerned with. This is where we got stuck for a long time, and it drove me nuts because I was up like 10% or so, and it started struggling getting through this order block of resistance for days and days. It just chopped through this order block, and I was like, please, for the love of God, break out. I'm losing my mind because I'm worried about not getting the profits out of this trade that I've been exposed to. Not that this is trading, this is an art channel. And we had a little swing low, but now it's trucking and it's above it, and we've got the trend. The EMAs are bullish. We've broken through resistance. So I'm hoping that we can see and witness GE continue to pull up. That's where I'm at. Right now, I'm double digits up on percentages, so I'm very comfortable. I'm locked in and willing to hold this long term until this trend flips the EMAs. You can see how it'll go up and eventually roll over on your colors, roll over your EMAs, do a few other things. Maybe we get some crazy top signals, stuff I'm looking at. So another one I wanted to show you guys is Tesla. This is the channel we've been going through over a very long time. And right now, you've seen a complete bounce back up to the top of this channel and then revert back down. Regardless, anytime you see pinks on Tesla on the H4, pay attention. It tends to roll over eventually, and we have some retraces. What on earth happens here? I don't know. I just know Elon's really bad in the news right now. The earnings are down 3 in a row. And of course, earnings are bad. Things pump. We're in the type of the market where layoffs boost stock prices, which I absolutely hate, but it's the nature of the market. Regardless, this overall kind of channel down is still in play, and I'm waiting to see what happens. Maybe we're just done. They're going to keep selling EVs, but nothing else goes crazy. People really got a bad taste in their mouth with Elon right now. So I think the Cybertruck's cool, but that's not going to make a bunch of sales for this company. So got to keep an eye on it. But the thing is, man, when Tesla acts like Tesla, the damn thing rips. And the one thing I'm going to pay attention to and watch like a hawk is if this damn thing gets above this channel and holds it and sustains it, maybe this thing walks away from this channel altogether it starts moving back up. If that happens, I want to ride this back up. That's like this order block up here. And maybe we get it, maybe we don't. Especially with this reversion band angled down, we would want to see that reversion band climb up before we really try to crush it. But when Tesla acts like Tesla, man, it runs. So I want to kind of pay attention to that. Anyway, moving on. Apple, this is another one that a lot of the Rainbow guys trade. It acts really, really well on the default settings on H4. But this is another one. Shout out, man, I forgot his name. I think it's Halo Crypto or Master Chief Crypto. He's got a bunch of accumulation schematics and distribution Wyckoff stuff with a bunch of different setups, so you can actually apply like more close to real world use cases instead of just going to like this one chart that everyone tries to reference and say that's the only one. None of this stuff's perfect. There's all different types of charts. I'm trading rainbows for F's sakes, and we've got alpha and rainbows, so whatever. Everyone can talk trash. Elliott Wave works. Ichimoku works. Quant stuff works. On-chain works. You just piece together what works for you and be your own dude. Anyway, and that's coming from like a rainbow panda right now. But regardless, we focus on creeks because creeks print. And that is that creek, that thing right there. Top's not so perfect, whatever. We want to argue. I don't argue Wyckoff charts anymore. It's not, I got better things to do. But I am going to pick up pieces of them off the floor when it drops it to me. And to me, this looks like that. Ignore phase A, phase B. Focus on that and this. This looks to me like a creek forming on support. This is the H4 going in down to this order block here. It looks like it is. And today or yesterday, when was this? This was Wednesday? No, May 2nd. Sorry. I'm way off on time. We got to jump on earnings. And the earnings actually re-hit this order block as support. So, yes, earnings definitely got us on the jump. I'm not in position with Apple. I don't trade Apple a lot, but I like charting it because it's a lot of our traders do it, and the rainbow stuff really picks it up. I frankly don't like the Apple products, and I don't like the VR stuff they recently did, so I'm not real bullish on them. But regardless, the point is the charts are still here, and it's looking like we did a full rollover. If you remember me talking earlier, that's that wick above a top pivot that baits people. That's it right there. And you didn't see the colors get stronger. You didn't see the volume increase, and it rolled over. A lot of people late longed that and got absolutely destroyed. This is the point of the mountain that forms the creek. Peek your little head above here. It will trigger everybody's alerts. Hey, new high. Get long, right? It's breakout season. Nope, goes down. That whales do that over and over, and it baits people. And that's not what happened. We rolled over. Or a lower high, and then we bled out, formed what looks like this phase C, this creek. That's the focus. Now we're jumping it. And if we jump this damn thing, and this is actually a phase D, that's something we're going to complete within a year. Now, mind you, some of these things go for like 2 years, 3. This could just do this forever. Regardless, don't care. That's what we're looking at, and we're going to see if we can jump. And if that is the creek, that's the jump. We're looking here and rocking and rolling with Apple. That's where we're at. So, anyway, that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for showing up. I greatly apologize that I started the stream late. I'm pretty much going to get a new internet provider and see if I can troubleshoot this OBS. If that doesn't work, Tom Crown, I'm giving you a call. With that being said, we're going to head over to the Rainbow Trends Discord and open up the open mic and continue this session there. But the streams will be turned off, but open it up to anybody who wants to share charts. So anyway, like I said, if you don't know what's going on, check us out at rainbow-trends.com, and that has our Discord link. But anyway, thanks again. If you could follow us, like, subscribe, all that type of stuff on YouTube, Twitter, it's much appreciated. Trying to really broaden out into the YouTube verse and document a lot of this stuff, because I think these videos are the best way that people can understand how to trade colors. But anyway, thanks again. Much love. I will talk to you guys in the Discord, and if you don't catch us in the Discord, I'll talk to you next week, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, guys.